Hello, everybody from Korea to ground control. Hello, can you hear me? Let me know if you can. I just arrived from Busan to Seoul to my house, literally like 5 minutes ago. So please apologize. Please pardon my 5 minutes off schedule arrival. But wow, it's an awfully quiet chat today. I didn't even have dinner, so I just cooked some ramen while I was setting up the live stream so that we could, just kick off the live stream a little bit old-fashioned, what do you call it? Old times kind of day. Hello, Ryan. Hello, Pam Moore. Who wants some ramen? Ooh, this is chamke ramen. Sesame ramen, by the way. One of my favorites. So empty today, I know, right? It's because it's a different time than usual. So excuse me until we have like 200 people watching. Let me just take care of my dinner. And it's like a good old mukbang. Mm. Hello, the Bard. Midnight Dreams. Oh yes, the Bard. I just received your very generous support on PayPal, so thank you so much. I got the message. See you soon. Hope you're having a good February last. Is this the last week of February? I think this is the last bit of winter for us cuz like I just came from Busan and everybody's wearing short sleeves already. Hello, Luritus from Finland. Whoa. So I have a story about Finland and Scandinavia. Hmm. Hello, Julia from Ontario. Is there going to be a Patreon live afterwards? No, unfortunately, today I'm a little bit too tired because I just came from Busan and literally, uh, what's funny is like I have like a main gate from my apartment and they have like a door lock, I don't know, security system. And because I was in Busan for a week, I forgot the password. So I had to take a detour all around the fence of my apartment complex and go to the front gate. And that took me like 10 more minutes. So here I am. You look skinny? No, there's no way. Maybe it's the camera, but I will take that as a compliment. But I went to Busan mainly for Lunar New Year and my mom's birthday. And I stuffed myself up. I ate so much. So there's no way. Maybe the weight hasn't caught up yet, but yeah, thank you though. Mmm, yum. How was Busan? It was great, as usual. I mean, if you follow me on Instagram, I did post a little bit about, you know, fireworks on the boat. That wasn't real time. That was actually filmed in like December or January-ish. But yeah, there were fireworks going around in front of my apartment. So I just posted what I experienced back in January. Ah, hello, Rashash. Hello, Mary. Indiana cutie. Hmm. Namaste from India. All right, we're slowly getting to 100. Mm-hmm. What's up, everybody? What time is it? Is it in your country? This live stream time, I haven't been streaming in a while in this time zone, so yeah, let me know. Yum. Do you like spicy ramen? Do you like Korean ramen? Oh, hello from London. You're visiting your mother, avoiding the cold and snow in Norway. Oh, I can't imagine how cold it must be up in the north. Hmm. How is London? So here, we're already seeing flowers blooming on trees. I went to the UN Peace Memorial in Busan the other day with my mom, um, just for a stroll, and she wanted to see the flowers, so that's where I went. But it was a very peaceful and very meaningful place where we were commemorating and honoring all the fallen soldiers for the Korean War. So if you're in Busan, it's a pretty remote place, and I wouldn't say it's like a very touristy or big attraction or like must visit site. But if you have some empty time, extra time, and you want to like check out like how Korea honors its allies and fallen soldiers. Of course, if you're in Seoul, you could go to the Yongsan War Museum. There's like a lot of displays of the actual remnants of the war and like the fallen soldiers and their names. But in Busan, we have another place as well too. So check it out. And right in front of the UN Peace Memorial Park in Busan, right across the street, there is a very fantastic knife cut noodle restaurant, which I didn't know about, but my mom said it was like a hole in the wall place. And indeed it was because there was a long line. And the noodles were amazing. And the kimchi was super spicy. Wow. With the posam. And that was all so good. So I wonder how I look slim. 4:15 p.m. in Scandinavia. Okay. 10:13 a.m. in New York. Awesome. I haven't worn a cap in a while because ever since I learned that wearing hats are very bad for your hair loss, I've avoided it. But today I didn't have time to wash my hair because it was super busy. I had to go to church. I had to go for a meal for my mom's birthday. I have to pack my stuff, do a little bit of work, and then we had some family talk time, and then had to catch the train. Came directly home, so yeah, that was my schedule today. Oregon, 7:15 a.m. Going back to bed. Okay, enjoy that sleep. All right, we're still at 88 people. I think it will be the perfect timing because once I finish this meal, I think it's going to be at 100. It's a season for avalanches. Oh, wow. My God, avalanches. Ooh, I've only seen them in like 007 movies in Switzerland or the Alps or something. That's crazy. That's crazy. So, what I did for like a main thing I did during my stay in Busan was my mom's birthday was on the 20th. And you know, moms, when they get old, she's over 60 now, and they want presents in the form of cash. But I regretted every single time I gave her cash because she would just use it for living costs, just like, groceries or a couple clothes. Um, and it didn't really seem significant or meaningful. So this time I said, no, I will not give you just bare money. Instead, if you really want something, let me know. And she said, my dream is to visit Scandinavia. And she's been literally crying about visiting the Nordic region for probably more than a decade, I think. She has a fantasy over it. I don't know why, what it is. But yeah, but the thing is, she's very old. Not very old, but like she considers herself old, so she can't travel by herself. And I was like, Mom, like, with ChatGPT and whatever, like, you could just literally tells you to do whatever and blah blah. And she's like, no, like, son, it's very different when you're very old. You can't even stand an airplane. I was like, all right, all right. So what do you want to do? So there's like these package trips, tourist companies provide, and they provide like a whole, curated package for basically old people or people that are just lazy, maybe, that don't want to do the work themselves. And they rent huge buses for you, and they travel in groups. And yeah, my mom was like, I can't go alone, so she kind of convinced her other friend. And you know, background story, but like the hurdle for her not being able to visit Scandinavia for such long time is, first of all, it's expensive. Our family, whatever you might think, isn't that well off, so she can probably afford like a foreign, like going overseas probably once per year, I think. Japan is like an exception, but like far away. So it's very expensive. You have to vacate your family duties for more than a week. She had family duties, as in like taking care of my grandma, my dad, and like my dogs and whatever, blah blah blah. So there's a lot of things to coordinate, and most of all, she didn't have anyone to go with, and she wanted to go with me, but like I'm just. I'm a guy in his 30s, and the travel style is different, and I have things I want to see, and she has stuff she wants to see. And first of all, if we go, we're like cats and dogs, so we would be nagging each other and like shouting and yelling and blah 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 blah. It'll be super stressful. So I was like, no, that's not happening. But anyways, at the end of the day, she did convince a friend that is single because she's divorced. Uh, yeah, so she was like, oh, that's convenient, right? And yeah, so yeah, the friend is also well off because she's a doctor as well. So it's very hard to find a friend in your 60s, apparently, that has the time, that has the luxury, that has the conditional, um, yeah, prerequisites to go on a trip together. So yeah, that got all checked, and she was like, "Give me your card, give me your credit card," and I was like, "Oh, all right, all right." So yeah, I made a bit on stocks this year, so I was like, "Okay, there you go, to off to Scandinavia." So yeah, that was my birthday present. Um, it's it's a pretty hefty amount, but she was very happy about it, and she was very thankful. So I was very happy that I am now capable of, gifting her dream trip. Hope it's worth it. She's very, very excited. When I went to Scandinavia like a couple of months ago, she was so jealous. I shared her all the pictures and stuff. But now that I have some information about the place. I can recommend stuff. I can give my experience about it, and she's like, "Oh, should I go here? Should I go there?" And I'm like, "Oh no, this is like this is that, like blah 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 blah. This is worth it." So she's very happy. But anyway, she's going for a week in, I think, August. So perfect time. hmm Now you want ramen? Go for it. Your dad is 90 and we go travel together? Oh, that's amazing. Maybe my dad can go. Oh, so I didn't explain this context. So my mom and dad, they got no problems, but they're two very different people. Oh, I mean very different people. My dad is totally committed to his work and his academic and his side hobbies as well. Which is a lot of dogs, a lot of research, a lot of mechanic stuff, blah blah blah. My mom is a very, what should I say, a home person, a very classy person. She likes arts, she likes traveling, she likes exhibitions, she likes music, classic music, and all that kind of stuff. So they're very different, and my dad barely has any time. He has to go to work as well too. So they've never really traveled together before overseas, other than their honeymoon or the time they were together in the States. So that's like off the options list. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, thank you. Happy belated birthday to your mom. Yes, I will. I will definitely carry on the message to her. You should be on a TV commercial when you eat. You make others so hungry for food. I think that's just like basic psychology. That's probably why people watch mukbangs, right? By the way, important announcement. Important announcement coming. So, you might have noticed today, like, this is unscripted. I'm not going through any news. It's just going to be old fashioned, old style KPC live, just you and me talking, yapping about random stuff, talking about life, right? The reason to that is I don't know if I'll fully transition, but I'm halfway there because I've already begun. Um, so what I realized is the lives are great, right? It gets like standard amount of views. I have you guys. I'm very satisfied with it. The workload, blah 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 blah. But honestly, it hasn't been getting a lot of growth in terms of exposure or new subscribers in terms of the channel. So the channel has been stuck at 50K for a while. Um, so my plan is to pivot. The live streams are going to be for the loyal fans. Maybe tidbits and snack news about like some stuff here and there, like like what I used to do with Anna or whatever. Like I go through, skim through news, blah blah blah. Might or might not do that, but my plan now is that I will probably make separate videos on every single topic that I think is talk worthy. So, for example, I've already filmed 2 videos, which tomorrow one is going to go up for sure. I've already edited it. It's already uploaded. All I have to do is make a thumbnail. So this is not blank promises anymore. People might be rolling their eyes like, oh, he's always said he's going to do this. But I finally got some time, sat down. Video's finished. I also finished another video. This one's in the process of editing. So these 2 videos, the first one is about definitely BTS right now. It's hot. So the significance behind why BTS is performing in the Gwanghwamun Square, some history about it, the significance it has to Koreans, blah, 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 blah. It's a 15-minute video. That one is going to be uploaded tomorrow. I kind of scheduled it in par with the actual, what do you call it, the ticketing tomorrow. That one. The second one is going to be about the Bali Bali culture, like why Koreans are so impatient, why they want everything so fast, how we got this habit, how this affected our economy and culture, blah blah blah. Another 15 to 12-minute piece. Another one is going to be about international marriage on the rise in Korea. Another topic would be about having a big surge of tourists in Korea, but why it isn't getting any profit. So blah 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 blah. I have a lot of subjects to talk about. So anyways, there will be more like 10-minute, 15-minute bits of videos that are kind of edited with more rich references. Hopefully that brings in more people, and then we can have a bigger pool of people just yapping in the KPC live streams during the weekends. So yeah, it's kind of like mini podcasts. So hybrid from what I used to do, right? So that's happening. David, you need a hot co-host to lure in fans like a Yell lookalike. Who's Yell? Who's Yell? KPC Live awesome as the yapping session while DK Live is for the news. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. I kind of saw like it overlapping because I didn't like coordinate with Danny beforehand. So yeah, that's another thing I didn't think about, but yeah, that's a great point. I'll recommend to post the news on TikTok too. Okay. You didn't add anything else to your ramen? Nope. That makes sense. Okay. Tell your mother to contact me. I will. But you'll probably be able to meet her maybe earlier if we're going to Busan. So let's see about that. Yes, that's the plan. That's why we have this new kind of new background, I would say. This is the background for my filming setup. I do turn this light on, so I have kind of a halo on my head. But yeah, cleaned up, exactly. This is for the new setup, and I'm happy about it. I'm happy. Hello, Tanisha. I love my milk. I like the idea of special topics. Hooray. Terrace, thank you. Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. And as for a host, I don't know about hot, but maybe female host. I am talking to someone. I have someone in mind, and she's very well spoken and she's very intelligent. I think she would be down. Honestly, I haven't talked to her yet, but I have someone in mind, and yeah, I think we have good ping pong, good chemistry. Not that I've tried anything, but in my own head. So let me talk to her and maybe introduce her in the next few weeks, I guess. Yeah, I have someone in mind. But broccoli, I'm sorry. I don't think she'd be like whoever you're thinking. Yell? Who's that? um, I've been watching DKDK. I've gone back 5 years. Love it. Thank you so much, Just a T, please. And thank you, Case Dodge. Sounds good, David. I look forward to seeing these videos. Yes. So yeah, they'll be more convenient for you guys just to like, turn on um anytime during the day and just like, fast forward, skim through. Um for those kind of topics, you can suggest more as well too. hmm Is there going to be a post show on Patreon? Not today, because I'm just very like tired today. Please no Subini. She's unsufferable. What do you mean? Subini's amazing. I actually, Subini's the one that kind of like clicks with me the most during conversations. I think it's because like our energy lengths or wavelengths or mindsets are kind of similar. Whereas Anna and maybe Kelsey or whoever would be on the other side. Yeah, it's not Diana. I haven't talked to Diana in a bit. Ever since she's gone to London, and I think she's back in Korea, but no, it's not Diana. Yeah, Diana's cool. Yeah. John. So John, last time I met with John at the radio station, and I had some extra time between time, and I was like, John, let's go grab a meal. So I bought McDonald's for him. I mean, the closest thing was McDonald's. It's not like I don't want to treat him or anything, but yeah, I went out of my way, drove my car, went to McDrive, and got ourselves a Big Mac set. So yeah, we had a meal and we talked over it. John, I don't know if he's actually like real. We in Korean we call it jinten. That means like 진짜 tension, which is translated to like actual vibes or actually things like that. But he was like, yeah, I've been seeing your lives and you always have like that Diana girl on it. Well, you haven't like what do you call it? Um called me to your stream for like ages now, and I knew he was like kind of joking on the, like the joking side. But like a part of me was like, oh, is he being serious or something? And I just brushed it off saying like, yeah, I haven't had a host ever since like, to the end of 2025 or something. So yeah, don't feel hone. Um, but I was just like, yeah, no big deal. It's not like I prefer anybody or anything. You're a great person. And he's like, no, I thought like you were blah 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 blah. So obviously not. No. First of all, my first reason of not having recurring guests, revisiting guests, is because that I have a burden on my heart as well too. If these busy people are coming to my house every single week for a joint live stream, and all I can do is provide them a meal or something like that, then I feel like I'm like underpaying them or something, right? Um, so yeah, not that at the same time I don't have the luxury to pay every single time a friend or a co-host or whatever comes over to my house, right? That's initially the reason I transitioned to doing a live stream or a solo live stream. So Yeah, so there are complex reasons. And it's very hard to coordinate times anyways. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. Hello, Purple Waves. Nothing's really happening. We're happening. We're just like yapping. Oh, okay. 184 people. Mm-hmm. Hello, Josephine from Finland. Yes, my mom is very excited for Helsinki. Yeah, she wants to go to the Rock Church a lot. Um, Subuni has an aura as a family girl, the girl next door. I think she does too. Yeah. She's very happy nowadays. I can only tell you up to this because I don't really, I don't really put that much attention to whether her story posts are for close friends only or public. So I can't, like, that's the problem, you know? When someone posts like a close friends post and then like another day they're not posting a close friend post and you don't like put too much attention to it. So close friends posts are supposed to be like, private stuff. So yeah, all I can say is like she's very happy lately. Yeah, I'm happy for her as well. She seems very happy. I remember a long time ago when he had Sean Solo. Yeah, he was on my podcast. I was on his live stream as well too. Oh, what's that? I wonder what Sean's doing nowadays. I haven't seen him that much on Instagram, but he did a collab with one of my favorite Ajashi creators. Um, yeah, like there's this creator I religiously watch on Instagram, and Sean did a collab with him. So I was like, oh, great collab, best collab. Would you get Priscilla Kwon as a host? I've seen her videos on Shorts. She covers like news and stuff, right? Um, well, I don't know if she'd be down because like I don't have any like chinbun. What is that in English? Like we're not like we aren't even acquaintances. So like I could contact her, but like she has a big following, so you got to understand like unless you're friends or unless you're getting paid, like if there's no motive, it's very hard to do collabs in this very cold society of influencers. You know what I'm saying, right? It's like could you get Rose for your live stream? No, the answer is no, right? So, I don't know. Like, if I had a chance to make a friendship or a relationship with other people, and I get to know them, and we become friends and stuff, I could ask a favor and say like, yo, if you want, would you want to be on my stream? Or if there's something they could mutually benefit from coming on my stream, such as more exposure. So it will work if there was a smaller following than me, in those kind of cases. But yeah, you gotta consider those kind of dynamics. Hmm. Um, Someone new, someone super intellectual. Yes, I have someone perfect in mind, and I think her personality is great, and she's very intellectual. She's very well spoken. So I think she would be an awesome ad. I don't know. Like I'm thinking of maybe doing virtual podcasts if that could be possible, or maybe just inviting her here. But the thing is, another dynamic is like inviting a female to a guy that lives alone to his house. It's kind of iffy, you know. there, there's a little. I do a lot of cushioning, of course. I'd be like, yeah, I'm not gonna kidnap you. Like, there's probably gonna be 200 people watching this, so there's a lot of evidence, so you don't have anything to worry about. But still, there's like, yeah, it's very hard. It's a very hard approach to make. Hmm. Yeah, but I'll work on it. I've had this on my mind for a while, so yes. Hello from Minnesota. All right. Alternative guests and then do a split screen live stream no matter where they are. Give them a chance to promote themselves for pay. Yeah. Actually, how's Anna? She seems to pivot entirely to just videos, but frequency seems to be lesser now. I talked to Anna like when was it? I actually recently talked to Anna, I think. Actually, no, like a month ago. But yeah, I talked to her because of like a business kind of thing. Is this is this like some kind of chalk on my what is that? But she's doing well. She's doing well. She's satisfied. Um Winter Olympics ended today. Norway beat us in cross country skiing and Finland beat us in ice hockey. Okay, I'm not very much educated in the Winter Olympics. I've been seeing it on TV a lot. Like I was in Busan Station and Seoul Station. There are big LED TVs and people gather around it and watch the news. And in this case, it was the Olympics, and Korea didn't do really well in the Winter Olympics this time. I think we got a few, 3 or 4 gold medals, but yeah, we're not like a wintry country in the first place. So we're traditionally very good in speed skating. But other than that, it's just like they're all like anomalies for us. So I didn't pay that much attention. I did hear the Korean, what do you call it, the curling team was very attractive, so I might check them out. But other than that, I have no idea what's happening. Yeah. Um, how long have I been live? Like 30 minutes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Maybe a live stream with Anna soon. Yeah. I mean, if she's down. So the main thing is it has to be worth it for the other person to do the stream. And yeah, I'm not saying like everybody's super calculative or anything. So as I said, as a premise, if we're good friends and I'm like, if you don't have anything better to do, you just want to catch up, have a coffee or a meal, and then in the middle do a live stream or blah blah blah, then it can happen. But if it's not that case, if it's like a person I barely know or a person I don't know, then stuff like that, dynamics occur. Do you have Arirang tomorrow? Yes, I do. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the live you had with Danny, Kelsey, and the other young lady at your friend's restaurant. That was great. Yeah, that was a very raw episode, and I always get like good reviews about that one. So I'll try to recreate some a vibe, something like that. Hmm. That was, I think, ironically, that got a lot of compliments, but it's also ironic because that was the only podcast that was unscripted. So I totally went in unscripted without any questions prepared. And to a sense, I'm like, oh, why would an unscripted pod get the best reviews while I prepare and like prepare my ass off and like try to make the flow smoother with like proper questions and directing the conversation to a certain point. But then at the end of the day, we were just like good vibes, good friends, all talking about a common subject that we all had on our minds, and natural flow, spontaneousness, whatever. And yeah, so it just was more raw, I guess. It was more raw. Um, Do you think BTS have seen you? Of course. Yeah, I'm confident. I actually thought about this today as well. I was at church and I was daydreaming. I'm sorry, Pastor, but I was daydreaming about a lot of stuff. And the sudden thought occurred because I made this video about BTS's epic comeback coming soon, which is going to drop tomorrow. Put your notification bells on. And I was like, BTS saw my stuff. Yeah, like I get like hundreds and thousands of views, and I did the Explain series. I did reactions, and it's proven that BTS and K-pop idols check their own music video comeback reactions, and they sometimes like they talk about watching YouTube. That time when the boys were at June's place and they checked out like Namjoon's algorithm and stuff, they laughed and stuff. So they watch YouTube. They're human beings too. And GD freaking goes on Instagram and presses likes on every single post he sees. So yeah, they're human beings too. They use social media. They use YouTube, and obviously they would be, they would allocate a little bit of time searching for their own stuff as well too, reviews about it. So yeah, I've been in the game for like more than now it's like a decade. I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Wow, Ryan's just like pulling out all these Korean female influencers. Ryan, you got to understand. I explained the dynamic, right? Like people that have way more followers than me do not have any incentive to come on my channel, right? It's just clear as that. Unless we're friends and I can pull like a favor, right? Or she can get something out of it. If that if those preconditions are not met, I mean, I could give it a try. Like there would be any hassle in doing that, but I myself think there's better things to do for with that time, like coming on over and spending a lot of time and blah 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 blah. So yeah. Thank you, Kel, for explaining on my behalf. Yes, this is when I go live on Arirang Radio every Monday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. KST. I come on the second hour on Culture Inc. Is it going to be someone who has already been on the stream? No. So one thing is, like, I haven't even asked her yet. It's just in my mind. I do think she's going to have a positive response to it. So yeah, let's check it out. Hmm. Have you heard about the V and Minijin controversy? Yeah, I saw that. Like V posted something on his Instagram saying like Minijin used his words, private chat in from the Kakao Talk messages they had, and V was basically like sympathizing to her, being polite, and then that was submitted to court as evidence, and it was released to the public as well because it was like in the verdict and blah 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 blah. So he was kind of whirled into this whole thingy, and he just came out explaining like, oh yeah, it's kind of I'm kind of surprised that I ended in there without my consent. So yeah, saw that. Hmm. Hey, Billy 21 just subscribed. Welcome to the fam. Welcome, Gildana, Epicuria. Hi, everyone. Caught alive finally. Okay. Hmm. Did you see V's new house? No, I haven't seen that yet. It's like a bat cave, really. I mean, black is chic. It's good. Personally, if I had my own house, I don't think it'd be in a very dark color. So, I really like the Scandinavian kind of home, furniture, interior, colors. Uh, like if you go to the showrooms in IKEA, I like those kind of vibes. I like the American ones too, but we just can't afford that much space and the vibes here in Korea. So yeah, I like to have like a very cozy but colorful points here and there with like yellow lights, no white lights, those kind of vibes. Calm down on the milk. No, I'm just gonna chug this whole thing down because like actually it's already past date. It's until February 20th and 3 days passed, but it was in the fridge. It's okay. Yeah, I'll just go to the bathroom tomorrow. I love milk. Thank you, Karen. Looking forward to the new videos. Yeah, so today it's just like a chill stream. How long I've been streaming so far? 39 minutes. Wow, I'm surprised I'm not that tired right now because like I literally just landed. I mean, came to Seoul in a long train ride. I don't know why, but there were so many tourists. in the train. And Busan is freaking crazy right now. Like I went to a department store today, Shinsegae. It's like the biggest department store in the world. There's like a big ass Guinness World Record postcard on it. But there were so many. I'm suspecting Taiwanese tourists because that's what I've been seeing on the news, and they were speaking in a Chinese-esque language, although I cannot differentiate Mandarin versus Cantonese and whatnot. But maybe I might be being kind of stereotypical, but they didn't seem like mainland Chinese people to me. Yeah, they seemed a little bit different in some way. And from the news, I saw that Taiwanese people who were visiting Busan had like these clips on their hoodies or clothes saying like we're from Taiwan. So yeah, but like there were so many people today. I was like, wow, damn. China check. What do you mean China check? It's inevitable as a Korean person to not talk about China. Cause like even today, the fine dust and it's off the charts in Seoul, and I had to wear a mask because like a few days before I didn't wear a mask, and like the fine dust went into my like respiratory system, and I got like a sore throat. I got an infection here, and I'm almost certain it's a direct correlation with the fine dust because like my throat started hurting the next day right after that long walk in the park during that fine dust day. I didn't have a mask on, and then it developed into an even harsher symptom. I don't know what it's called in English, but like ChatGPT and Gemini diagnosed it. Oh, thank you. I did a thank you in advance for the plus use in the chat, so you don't have to. But there's like this small little thing that let me just look it up. It's not that serious of a disease or anything. It's apparently it just occurs when your immune system is a little malfunctioning. Lymphadenitis, lymphadenitis, whatever that is. Yeah, I got that. So I had to go to the hospital and get some what do you call them? Antibiotics. Swollen lymph nodes. That's what it is. I think he saves that for Patreon. What? Talk about Karina? Oh, my love life. Oh yeah. Yeah, updates on that I will talk about in on Patreon. Not today though. When you see an American in Korea, do you speak to them? No. Why? Why would I speak to them? Like, there's an American walking by, like, hey, howdy, how you doing? There's no reason to. Yeah, it's the same. It's same goes for anybody. Like, I don't talk to a Korean passing by, an American passing by, an Indian passing by, Southeast Asian passing by, whoever. Like, I don't know. Yeah, unless there's a reason to, right? If they're struggling, they're like having a hard time navigating at the metro station, I might be nosy and say like, "Do you need a hand?" But yeah. Hi, my name is David. No, no, that's like how serial killers approach you. I hope your Lunar New Year was a good one in Busan. It was. It was. It was great. I got some great rest. I got some work done. I'm very happy. Celebrated my mom's birthday. Got to see my grandma, my dog, my dad. We did a lot of important talk this time. So a lot of things done, and I got to see the beach. I walk the beach every single day. Yeah. Ask them, excuse me, do you live alone? Yeah, I don't know about that. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Starting tomorrow, I'm gonna go work out again vigorously because I probably gained so much weight over the last year, the last week. Would it be weird if one of your subscribers visiting Korea suddenly came up to you and said hello? No, happens all the time. Happens in the old days when I was on my peak. Happened every single time I go to Hongdae, Itaewon. Uh, Happened to me this time when I went to New York. A couple people recognized me randomly in the Highlines. If you're watching, say hi again. Um, but yeah, happened to me in Texas. Happened to me in California. California all the time. Seoul, not that usual, unless I go to like Yonsei, Sinchon, Hongdae, Itaewon. Sometimes in tourist areas. But yeah, I'm just used to it. Last time I went to see the BTS stairs, I got recognized like 3 times. It's like my home ground over there. So, aren't you that, that guy? I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I even took a picture and I always tell them, like, please tag me on Instagram, but nobody really does. So, yeah. Because you're so Americanized, David, American girls would adore you. Do you think so? I don't think I'm Americanized. I do speak fluent English, and I do have a little bit of more open-minded approach than Korean conventional Korean guys, but I still think my roots, my core identity is a Korean. It leans more towards that. Uh, I'm still very conservative, Like I'm like in terms of relationship, it's like 3 date rule, um, no skinship until like you're actually dating stuff. I can bend the rules if the other side like leads the way, but like I would never go outside of my way to be very an explorer. David is famous in Hongdae? Nah, I'm not. Yeah, nowadays nobody knows me. um, what is Ramadan Mubarak? I saw it in another YouTube channel. I'm not sure. But isn't it like the greeting for the Ramadan period for Muslims? Was it Ramadan? Is it Ramadan right now? Isn't it like Happy Ramadan or something? I think I tried it with miso back in the day. Yeah, on a video. Oh, that was hard. Oh, it's Holy Islamic month. Okay, so it's like it means the period itself, the month itself. Okay. Um, David, since you're from Busan, have you ever tried live octopus? It is tasty. You don't have to be from Busan to try live octopus. It's a Korean classic. I love it. I don't get out of my way to eat it, honestly, because it's not like a typical dish. It's not like kimchi or rice or soup. It's more of a anju, I would say. It's more of a drinking paired food. And even so, like we would just go for normal chips, nachos, or like for Korean stuff, maybe from some fried pork or whatever. Um, but live octopus isn't like the typical kind of thing we go for. But if you're in a market, if you're at a raw beef place, maybe if you're at a fish market, they would maybe give you raw octopus. Tried it before. It's all right. It's the same as dead octopus. The only difference is that it squirms in your mouth. And honestly, like I think it's kind of brutal, so I only tried it like once in my life and just for the experience. And it's not that pleasant, I would say. It's interesting. Um but yeah, the taste itself, if we're just talking about the taste, whether it's live or dead, it's the same thing. It's just slimy, kind of slippery, and the sesame oil kind of just covers it up. So yeah, it's just like that. Yeah, and there's an iconic scene in Old Boy where he like slurps up a live octopus and the tentacles are all on his face and it's still moving. So I don't really see the point in eating it live. Like usually, if you go to Japanese places or these fish markets, they just like tap once on the fish head or the whatever sea creature it is, and it just gets knocked off, and they just chop it off or put it in the hot pot. But like it's kind of brutal when you see like people just putting live creatures into like boiling water, like even if it's an octopus or something. Like yeah, like that's kind of brutal. Yeah. But then like I, I I can't really complain about it because I'm a meat eater as well. And if you consume any type of meat, animal brutality always follows. It's we're just all like holding a blind eye towards it. Because like if you research the little utmost bit about meat itself, um, yeah, you're all in it together. Like I would argue like whether if it's a live octopus or like whether if it's beef or chicken or pork or whatever. If you eat meat or living creatures, if you're not a vegan, you're all in it together. Like you can't judge each other by that's like so like it's the same because like I've seen so horrible documentaries like whether you justify yourself like, but we eat it dead. Like, well, go research about the process and in what do you call it? Like raising these chickens, for instance, captured in these 1 meter cages, 30 centimeter cages. They can barely even stand or walk or anything. All they do is like they're captured in that cage for the rest of their life. They lay eggs. If they yeah, they're not productive or anything. They just get chopped. And I don't know, like if you talk about cruelty, animal cruelty, like I know it's a very cruel subject and this sounds psychopathic, but if we must compare, there's a live octopus. It got it got it got cranked up from the sea. It was in a tank, and then a customer came. It's put on the plate. It's squirming, and the person puts it in their mouth, eats it up. How long did that take? Probably like 1 minute max, right? 10 seconds. For that chicken is living their whole lifespan in that cage. Probably not even sanitary. They put so many like antibiotics and spray all these what do you call them pesticides and give them like not even food, and they lay eggs every single day. Let's just capture it in there for their entire life, and then they get killed for meat. So which side do you think is more cruel if you actually have to compare that? So if you're a chicken eater, if you're a meat eater, if you're whatever, I don't think like we're all in it for animal cruelty. So yeah, that's just my perspective. I'm not a vegan, so I'm not saying I'm a saint. I'm just saying we're all in it together. But of course, if we have conscience about this, awareness about it, we can actually voice and try to maybe better the environments that these animals are treated and raised in, right? So yeah, but yeah, if you're interested, go check out Bong Joon-ho, the director of Parasite and Ice Piercer and whatever. He made a film. It's on Netflix. It's called Okja. It criticizes animal cruelty. Um, yeah, so it's a whole different mindset to eat something that's still. I understand where you're going, and I totally get the logic. But like, if we had to compare by the standards of a cruelty only, I would still think you're putting a blindfold on and saying that kind of stuff when people eat beef, pork, chicken, whatever it is. It goes to the same for like dog meat as well too. Like I'm not a fan of dog meat as well as I'm a dog owner. I hate the dog eat meat consumption culture, and it's already banned in Korea. But like some Aboriginal tribes in the Amazon or China or whatever eat very weird kind of meat, and it's just to their own culture. And if we're all meat eaters at the end of the day, like how can we weigh a dog's sentimental value over because it's human's best friend over like a cow, and like it's just like, yeah, you know. So we're all sinners, and I'm just thankful to the animals. I'm just thankful I'm a human being. Um, yeah. So uh, you get what I'm saying, right? So only the vegans have say in this. But at the end, like if we go technically into that, now we expand the logic that we can go into, well, herbs and vegetables are living organisms as well too, and like in the process of producing them, there's like blah 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 blah, and it's so it's never ending, never ending. I don't think it's at this point. I don't think it's like a productive um what do you call it, thing to judge each other on animal consumption. But I do understand, like by principle, like it's horrible to consume something alive. Yeah. So we need a line somewhere, right? It's called the slippery slope, and of course, if we go on that slippery slope, it could even go to cannibalism, which is crazy, right? Some Aboriginal tribes somewhere in the world still have cannibalism there, and in their own culture, it's perfectly fine because of some kind of contextual, historical, whatever. If they had a drought or like a food shortage or whatever, blah 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 blah. But yeah, like let's not go into that territory. It never ends. Exactly. Not you acting self-righteous about eating dogs like Korea didn't just ban it a year ago. Yeah, it banned it I think a year ago. I think the dog farmers are getting some compensation right now. Um yeah, so you used to eat goldfish. What? Okay. Are you talking about the goldfish snacks? David join with Bill Gates and eat worms? No. Actually, though, I did see a documentary saying that bugs are the future's source of protein and nutrients. Like they're actually a very rich source. It's just because of the perception of human beings that think insects and bugs look gross. It's that like they don't consume it. Uh, but actually they're very high in protein and whatever. So there are a lot of food companies that try to like grind them or whatever, like farm them and yeah, make protein bar. Oh my gosh, let's not talk about this. I can't. Oh my gosh, yeah, I'll stop. Hmm. What's that picture behind you? Oh, it's one of my peak moments when I went to our fan meeting. You want to see? It's it's here to cover the multi-tab, but this was when we went to Los Angeles for the BTS concert, and we had a fan meet. We had a joint fan meet for K-pop YouTubers, and I can proudly say, confidently say, like more than half of the people that showed up were our fans. We called them the Ducks, and there we are. There I am, and Danny over here. There's PD, there's Roseanne, Celeste, there's JREUKML. I think Briss is there somewhere. And there was Cameron too. No, was Cameron here? Yeah, Cameron was here too. Cameron Phillip. So, yeah. Is anybody from this picture watching? Wow, the good old days. Yeah, I think this was in the Pasadena area or something. Yeah, it's a nice picture. I like to cherish. Yeah, it was a nice picture. You went to an African restaurant that serves crunchy grasshoppers. It tasted like grilled chicken skin. Okay. Thank you for sharing the experience because I would probably never had any idea what fried grasshoppers taste like in until the end of my life. So, thanks for enlightening me. When was that? That was probably like 2000. 19-ish. I don't know. When was BTS's last concert? Something like that. I don't think it was permission to dance. It was speak yourself, probably. Hey, little flower for thee, just cause you're a
Just
good
cause you're a
guy.
good
Hey,
guy.
you're from LA
Hey,
too.
I'm
Thank you
from
so
LA
much for the
too.
$10. Pizza. Thank you so much. Boom, 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 boom. Actually, let me go get my phone. Let me check if I got any PayPal's. There it is. Yeah, I had to charge it because it was out of juice in the train. You know what? Like, oh, this is a problem. I do think everybody has some sort of addiction nowadays, but like smartphone addiction has kind of gone crazy to the point where the 2.5 hour ride from Seoul to Busan or vice versa was pretty long. But nowadays it's just like a blink of an eye because like I'm just like so glued to my phone. I'm like scrolling or doing whatever, like watching anime or Netflix or whatever. It's like, I watch like 2 episodes of something and then I just scroll on social media, maybe listen to a pod, and I'm there. And in the old days when you didn't have this much content on your phone, it'd be a pretty stubborn ride, a boring one, and you'd have to do something to entertain yourself or just sleep. That's what I would do. But nowadays it's just like phone, you're already here. It's crazy. It was like that today. Which time you gonna stream next Saturday? Probably at the normal time, which is 12 p.m. KST. Because as I explained numerous times, I'm trying to get my life cycle back, and streaming at this time isn't really the ideal pattern for me because it's technically 1 to 2 a.m. in the morning over here, and I wake up at like 7, 8 ish every morning, so I only get like 5 hours of sleep after the live stream. Yeah, boredom is too undervalued now. I know, right? Wow, I was kind of surprised because I was just walking by the beach, Quality Beach, my house, and I really like to just glaze at the waves at the beach. But it was so hard to maintain that focus because my hands were itching to reach for my smartphone. I was just trying to, the fact that I had to consciously convince myself to not reach for my phone and look more at the waves just means that I'm already addicted to my phone. And I'm not even like seeking for any kind of entertainment. It's just like my hands are like have this magnetic pull to it. Whether I'm like looking for a new message or like what time it is or something. And I was just trying to focus. The irony is, I'm trying to like gaze out by looking at the water, but then I have to focus my conscience to tell myself like, don't look at your phone, don't look at your phone. So it was ruining the whole moment. So, digital detox is what I need exactly. That's brutal. I have experienced the same, sadly. I think everybody to some extent. So the pastor today, his sermon was about addiction, how modern day people have a certain kind of addiction, whether it be smartphones, sex, drugs, porn, gambling, alcohol, the list goes on. And, like at the end of it, like he was like, never go to drugs because once you go into drugs, you can never come back because your dopamine system is like fried. And you live in pain, blah blah blah. Well, the end of story was like at the end, you need to, the only way to overcome addiction from all those kind of things is God, meeting God, or whatever religion you believe. Like, yeah, a realization or something like that. And getting addicted to God is a good thing, unless it's like super unhealthy for you, like you fall into a cult and you start hurting yourself and selling your all your assets and sacrificing it to an altar or something. So yeah, but anyways, it just, yeah, we were talking about addiction and it just clicked in my mind right now. You're addicted to your iPad. Yeah, I'm addicted to a lot of stuff too. So I'm addicted to stocks. I'm addicted to money and trading. And I just can't get enough of content about like the stock market. Even though I've consumed all the information about this particular industry or sector or this one individual stock, I keep looking for more and more and more for confirmation bias or more confidence on, you know, buying and holding this stock and trading it. And like I constantly think about Monday morning when the market opens, and we all have these kind of addictions. I have to admit, I had a gambling addiction in the past too. And maybe that's kind of easing down into maybe the form of stock trading. But yeah, I did actually have some sort of gambling addiction, like maybe 5 years ago. I don't think it was like an addiction. It was maybe a phase because, like, okay, let's get into that story a little later. But Balwint, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Thank you so much, Pizza Pizza. So I don't think I have like super unhealthy addictions that can actually affect my health or my well-being. Maybe, I mean, gambling, if you go to the extreme with gambling, definitely, like, you know, if you're getting loans and selling your house and borrowing money from your friends and family and like stealing money and stuff, like, of course it could go down in a very bad way. But like the thing is, for celebrities who get canceled in Korea, um, you know, it's the public court holds a different standard to law. So, for instance, if you do gambling, which is illegal in by Korean law, uh, Korean citizens cannot gamble unless you go to a certified casino in Gangwon-land. That's the only place. But anyways, we're not allowed to gamble. So if you go overseas and gamble with a big amount of money, some people got caught. YG got caught, stuff like that. That would be the equivalent of like a whatever sentence or whatever fine in by Korean law. And then if you do drunk driving, that would be some kind of sentence or whatever law. If you do weed or drugs or whatever. So, you know, by law, they're all crimes, right? But for some reason, in Korea, there are certain crimes that, in the essence of it, by the law, they're all the same crimes. But by public court, they are perceived differently. So, for instance, gambling is the prime example. So there are so many celebrities on like Knowing Bros or these shows or in Korean TV reality entertainment, which have been canceled for gambling initially in the past, but they've returned successfully with their careers as comedians, entertainers. And if that gambling, the reason for cancellation was swapped into like maybe drunk driving or uh, sexual harassment. I mean, that's kind of severe, but whatever. Like, this is another alternative, then they wouldn't have been able to return into their public figure career. But for some reason, gambling is always forgiven because the logic is like, at least you're not hurting anybody, right? And another thing is, so in the old days, fraud was kind of seen as it's super bad, but you know, like it's not like killing. Okay, like I know, like fraud definitely can lead people to death because they cripple their financial situations, they demolish families, and blah blah blah. I know, of course, if the size is big as well too, but then like we're talking about like you lend money from someone like $10,000 and then you didn't write an agreement. So this friend, there's a lot of celebrity cases like, this celebrity borrowed like 10K from a friend and didn't pay back that, and that friend exposed you to the media saying like, oh, this guy lent me borrowed money from me and he's not giving back it to me, and he's now successful and I want to like drag him down and stuff like that, and that happens, and that's technically fraud, right?
I'm addicted to BTS.
So
Seeing the
people
gifts
cancel
reminded
him
me of
for
when
the
I
time
first
being,
became
but then
Army in
because like
2018
this
and
media
watching
catches up and then like,
DKDKTV,
okay, this
taking
celebrity
selfie the PTD
gives him back the
concert,
money
and
and
now
blah blah
looking
blah.
forward to Arlington,
In the
Texas.
old days it
With
was seen
David and
as
fellow Army,
kind
heart
of
hands
okay
emoji.
because it's like a monetary financial thing. So some what I'm trying to say is, of course, if you go to the extreme of all these kind of gambling or fraud or whatever it is, it can be super destructive towards the opposite party. But like if we're talking about like, just like, I don't know, like small level crimes, whatever is like monetary or financial is given a lower moral sentence from the public. That's what I'm trying to say. And these people have been successfully coming back into the entertainment scene. And they even joke about it. Like it's like, like if you watch Knowing Bros or something, some of the members have come back from gambling incidents or debt or whatever. Like basically going bankrupt, if you owe money to a lot of vendors and you just file for bankruptcy and you're living a lavish life as a celebrity, people see that as fraud as well too. But anyways, um, sometimes they even joke about like gambling addiction on shows. They're like, "Oh, you shouldn't go near that place because, like, But then, I've always seen it as a very interesting moral lens, because like Korea is always super edgy, like super highly focused on moral judgment, but for some reason, for monetary or financial things, maybe it's because it doesn't affect the viewers directly, they seem to give a lot of passes. So yeah, if you get what I'm saying. No one gets hurt exactly, basically. But then, like, if you extend the logic again, if a lot of people are affected, if you lend money from family members and stuff, like, of course people can get hurt. Yeah. BTS Angel, thank you so much for the $23. Wow, thank you so much. I'm addicted to BTS. Okay, I love your color over here. Looks like the Permission to Dance era too. I seeing your picture reminded me of when I first became Army in 2018 and watching DKDK SoFi PTD concert. Now looking to Arlington, Texas. Pora David and fellow Army, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. Apo Bangpo. Yeah, thank you so much. The clock is gone. Yes, I replaced it with the KPC thingy. Because I noticed when I was filming, when I do retakes, the time um, doesn't match. Yeah. And Koreans are not the only gambling addicts. Exactly. Yeah. But like telling you a little bit about like my gambling era. Am I confessing the crime on a live stream? I trust you guys that you will not report me to the Korean officials. Like 245 people. Maybe this is a stupid thing to do, but maybe this is a made up story that no one can prove, right? Maybe I'm just acting manly in front of a lot of people to prove that I'm a reckless person. Maybe it's a made up story, right? But anyways, um I think like a couple, yeah, in my dream, a couple like 7 years ago, before, this is definitely before COVID. So COVID was like COVID-19, 2019. So it's before COVID. That's before the travel ban. So like, yeah, wow, holy shit. It's like, I think like 8 or 9 years ago, I had a chance I love traveling. So I had a chance to travel to Macau with my friend, and I had no idea what that place was. But like, we have a lot of different popular places Korean people go, like in the Asian realm, right? It's usually Japan, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Taiwan. If you go a little further, you could go to like Boracay or Bali, or Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam, blah blah blah. And one that stood out that I've never been to was Macau. I went there and I was like, my eyes were, whew, oh my gosh, what is this place? So if you haven't been to Macau, it is the modernized version of Las Vegas. Honestly, there's not much to see, but it's the same as Las Vegas, but I think it was built a little bit later on. So the facilities are a little bit more modernized. If you go to Las Vegas, it's kind of rusty. I wasn't that impressed. But you'll see the Wind Palace, you'll see, I don't know, the Parisian, the what are the other hotels, like the big fancy hotels where you'll see the fountain shows, the cable cars, the Eiffel Towers, the Londoner, and all that. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. It's an artificial city. It's a casino city, right? And it was amazing. And yeah, when I first went there, uh, I was like, wow, this kind of thing exists in Asia. And fun thing, I think it was, I can't really date when this was, but apparently I read a little bit of history about Macau, and there's like the MGM group or the Wynn group or whatever. Like they're these big casino moguls and companies, and they were looking to make the second Las Vegas in the Asian area. And apparently, Korea was on that list, South Korea. And even President Trump, the back then Trump, he was like a real estate developer or whatever. He had his own casino, I think, and he was among one of those group of investors that wanted to build an Asian version of Las Vegas. And apparently, he visited Korea back in the day, like who knows, like 3 decades ago or something. And he visited Incheon, and Incheon was underdeveloped. It was like whole barren land, so they actually thought it was perfect to build the Asian Las Vegas in Incheon. And back then, I don't know why, but like for some reason, it didn't proceed. Incheon also had a bid for like Disneyland or something, but that didn't happen as well. So I don't know why Incheon maybe sucks. But then apparently it went to like Macau and something, and then now it became the Las Vegas there. But yeah, it is very flashy. It is crazy, and I was just mesmerized by the flashiness of the hotels and how like big the facilities are and how many restaurants and shopping centers are all connected inside, and the Rolex shops and the Patek Philippe and whatever. Um, so apparently, like, yeah, of course it's a casino city. So in my dream with my friend, I was just like, yeah, sleepwalking, and I went down to the casino, and I had some like allowance money and I bet, and then with good luck, beginner's luck, I won an amount of money, and as naive we were, it was like, wow, we actually made money out of thin air. And then we straight ahead went to the buffet, and the buffet was like so big and they had so much food. But on top of that, the buffet was super cheap. I think it was like probably $40 per person. For that quality, if you go to a five-star hotel in Korea, you probably have to pay 100 per person or something like that. But like it had king crabs, it had like Beijing duck, it had steak, pastas, fried stuff, soup, noodles, everything. I was like, damn, we're eating all of this for free, basically, because we went to the casino and got free money. And then when we went back to our hotels, we were like stuffed, and I was like, we want to explore the facilities. And then I think we were staying at the Parisian. We went down to the swimming pool. Dang, it was like the Versailles palace, and the swimming pool was so grand, and it was like super clean and aesthetic, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. Like, as a human being, the experience you get here. The hotel, they're all like 5 stars, and they're very affordable as well too. I think it was like only $100 per night. So with two people, like the room was super big too, king size beds, great view, 50 bucks, and we made all that money from the casino as well. So it was like basically a free trip, and we're like at 5 star hotels, buffets, amazing pools, and then we went to the old city town, and then had some like wonton noodles and tantan mian and all that, and wow, it was great. And they have great egg tarts. So that was the start of my addiction phase. Uh, it's not because I love the gambling aspect of it, like the act of gambling itself and playing the game. I didn't really find any like joy in it because it was honestly like pretty boring. There was like I think there was like blackjack and like baccarat and stuff like that, and mostly baccarat. But basically, like I don't really get the joy in gambling itself, because like it's just like a bunch of cards and you add up the combinations and whichever number you get, like you win. Like if you look at baccarat, like you get two cards and whichever number gets closer to, is it 21 or 13? I forgot even the rules, like you win. So like people, if you get two cards, you look at people and they kind of like reveal their card like this. They're like looking at whichever number it is, or is it a spades, or is it like a king or queen, and they're like slowly. But I don't get the point of it because like destiny is already done. Like it's not gonna change. Why don't you just like like reveal it in 1 second? But they're like, let's see, let's see. I just don't get it. But anyways, the reason I got addicted is because of the space, the environment itself. It's like the feeling of like you're doing this all for free. You're getting stuffed, you're getting super good food, you're going to spas, and like you go shopping, and you can buy like a Under Armour. I think I bought an Under Armour t-shirt, and I think it was like a Nike shoes with the money I earned from the casino. And you're going to buffets and doing sightseeing and air conditioned at a 5 star hotel, all for free. So that feeling is what you get addicted to. And I think the casino cities are meant to be designed in that way, so that normal people like me who aren't even interested in the games themselves get addicted by the act of like the accessibility of cheap but good food. Like, you know we went to Five Guys, and we went for like the whole thing with like a lot of um chips and shake. So yeah, it was amazing. So I was like, wow, this is heaven. And I think I went like 2 times afterwards. But then I started losing my money. And I was like, oh, okay, this is not it. Like, let's stop here. And then COVID hit. So yeah, COVID pulled the plug for me, and then it went gone. hmm But anyways, that's my little dream story of how I might have been borderline addicted to gambling. It's yeah, it was crazy. But if you have a chance to go to Macau, I would recommend like a day or two, because I think it's worth it just to like be a tourist there. They have great food too. Oh my gosh. Oh, the food we ate was so good over there. hmm Oh, I learned about Macau on Boy with Flowers. I was like, what? Yeah. Vegas is all about luring people in cheap hotel stays, but spending money on shows and gambling. Even the food is cheaper there. Exactly. It's the same in Macau. I'm like, no way this whole buffet is only like $40. I was going for the king crab legs day and night, and going for refills with the beef steak, the filet mignons, and the sirloins and the ribs. Isn't Paradise City in Incheon? So for domestic people, we are not allowed to gamble anywhere else in the world except this one place called Gangwon Land in Gangwon City. Yeah. If we go to Macau, if you go to Vegas, if you go to wherever, Monaco, wherever it is, If you're Korean and you're gambling there and you get caught, that's illegal. Honestly, they would give you a pass if you're just like a chump change gambler that gambled like $100 just for the fun of it. Like it's a waste of administrative power and legal force to enforce that. So honestly, like they don't give an F whether you gamble or not with your couple $100. But if it becomes a pattern, if it becomes like a recurring thing and you show signs of addiction, you show signs of what do you call it, losing currency, and or you're gambling in like a big amount of like over $1 million or something like that, then that's like definitely a big crime. Yeah. I hate gambling. My brother's so addicted to it, even though he sacks a big salary, all of it goes to gambling. That is, yeah, that is unhealthy. So gambling is very, very dangerous. It's one of the very deadly addictions, along with like drugs, sex, gambling. Yeah, so you got to be very careful with it. I'm glad COVID pulled the plug for me, and then I was on a winning streak, and then like lost my money. So yeah, it was the perfect timing. So thank you, COVID. COVID saved my life, ironically. Um, why doesn't South Korea legalize gambling? Do they foresee a serious problem? So Korea is based on Confucianism, and it's a very conservative country, and they kind of try to restrict anything that is very morally questionable, that does not contribute to society and has an unhealthy kind of moral issue. Same goes for porn. So porn is illegal in Korea. You cannot access any of these porn sites. You'll be blocked. Prostitution is illegal. There are debates about whether prostitution should be legal or not. Some countries in the world are legal. Some countries are illegal. Korea is on the side where it's illegal. Gambling is illegal. Drugs are illegal. Up to marijuana as well. Not league. Weed. Um, and alcohol though is an exception. So that's kind of double standard, right? Because like I know you guys are already, but like cannabis and weed and marijuana are like not even addictive, and they're better than alcohol, and they're weaker than that. I know what you're gonna all say, but yeah, like they're always like they're always exceptions. Um, but alcohol is big here. And but like basically anything that's very pleasure or earthly or like sin related are all illegal in Korea. Yeah. I'm curious why South Koreans are developing casinos in Southeast Asian countries but not in their own country. Well, for business, for money, probably. Yeah, that's just the answer. Like any casino, it's for the money. At the end of the day, as much as I know about casinos, like I've done my own research about casinos, you can never win. It's just built like that. I'm not saying they're rigging or anything. There might be rigging here and there, but big casinos, by for the record, they don't rig. The thing is, the casinos, the house always wins because mathematically, it's it's structured to be like to win. Um, there's like a law of big numbers or whatever. Like I can't explain it in English, but if you go into like a lot of movies or mathematics, the reason is like you always lose to the house because they have an infinite amount of money. They have an infinite amount of like um, trials they can take, but you have a limited amount of money. So you can never win. Um, there might be some rigged machines as well too, and blah 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 blah. So, anyways, you can never win against the house. The only way to win on a casino is to win for the first time or like a couple times, and you're at a plus, and then you have the balls enough to say that you're done and walk out. And even so, the casinos are confident they let you take your money even if it's a big lump sum of like 100K or whatever, because they believe that you will come back with your own feet and put that money back, and lose even more money at the end of the day. So it's all about the psychology, and yeah, I do see why human beings fall for it, and I do think it's a very dangerous thing. So I kind of agree to the Korean government illegalizing gambling because it really destroys a lot of lives. When I went to the Marina Bay Sands last time, I looked around the casino. I didn't play anything. Yeah, for the record, I did not play. Um, I looked around the casino, and maybe I'm being judgmental, but there were literally packs and groups of people that looked like manual labor workers, literally that got, discharged from their daily duty at a construction site, because like they were all in like no sleeves and just construction wear work, and they just entered the casino all together, and they had a pack of money in their hands, cash. But I literally saw them like inserting the dollar bills and see them disappear in like 5 minutes, and they were like banging on the tables, and they just went home. I was like, you earned that money with hard work and blood, sweat, and tears today, and you just wasted that in 5 minutes? It's crazy. Okay, maybe I'm talking too much about gambling. So, aren't stocks gambling? So, stocks are different. The reason stocks are different is because if you approach it in a gambling kind of mindset, then it is gambling. The essence of it might be gambling, but the reason stocks are different is because you can analyze stocks and their value and their market predictions, projections, and whatnot. Their books are transparent. They have they have boards. They have like dividends. They you can actually, like, if you, let's say Warren Buffett, you can invest in a company. So investing in gambling is different. So you analyze a company, you say Meta, let's for example, oh, Mark Zuckerberg, he's graduated, dropped out of Harvard or whatever, he did Facebook, and he's very successful with Instagram. Their revenue is this, and advertising, the projection is going up like that. They're investing in AI at the moment, but it's all going to come back. The Ray-Ban glasses are, making this much revenue. Um, they have property here and there, and you can quantify like the projections and the outcome and the results of the company, and you can actually foresee, whether this is going to be a business that is booming or dwindling in the future, and you bet on that. And if there's growth, you get earnings. So I think it's definitely different, because if you study and you educate and inform yourself and research about a stock and a company, then the odds, the probabilities of you earning money exponentially goes up, compared to like gambling, which is just like set on a
Want
pair
to
of
gamble
cards
so
and
badly?
destiny.
Maybe consider
So
having
I
an
think it's
American
definitely
spouse to
different in
gamble
that
on
kind
your
of
behalf.
sense. Yeah, just as I like invest in hype, I've been watching BTS and the K-pop scene for a decade. I know that they have this much economic effect. I know that there's going to be this much impact, whereas the public still doesn't have that much sentimental information. Or I know some insiders as well too. So yeah, I'm investing my money on hype stocks, and I made a good outcome out of that. So there's a discrepancy between information as well too. That's called insider information maybe sometimes, but you can use all these kind of tactics. I think it's totally different. Uh, if you want to gamble so badly, maybe consider having an American spouse to gamble on your behalf. Rachel, I wonder where you popped up from. You weren't very active in the first half, but glad to see you. $5. Thank you so much, Rachel. No, I think I'm fine with gambling. I'm done with that stuff. Yeah. Um, yeah. Well, and hey, David, love the content. What K drama would you
Hey
recommend
David,
these
love the
days?
content. What
These
drama would
days,
you
I don't know, but
recommend
I
these
did
days?
see a very interesting one that caught my eye. Blackpink Jisoo is going to be the main lead of an upcoming drama called 월간 남친, monthly boyfriend, if you translate that. And there's a massive roster of big male celebrities that are appearing on that drama. So I'm looking forward to that one. But in the meantime, I don't think I've been watching any interesting K dramas. I did recently binge view Anna, not Anna Lee, but there's a K drama called Anna on Disney Plus, and the main lead is Susie, and she kind of like frauds her way, imposters her way up to success. And yeah, that's very interesting. I like that one. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he was gambling in Macau. No, I did not say that. That was in my dream. Mm. The trick with gambling is to set the amount you have to gamble and then quit when it's gone. Exactly. If you win big, you quit and go have a good meal. Exactly. Think of it as the same as any entertainment. Yep. That is the mindset. But it's so hard as a human being. It keeps lingering in your mind while you're having that meal. It's like, oh wow, this is pretty nice. That's what happened to me, right? This is pretty nice. This is an amazing meal out of thin air. If I just go one more time and double my amount, it goes like that. So, mm, casinos use psychology against us, exactly. So I would advise not even stepping foot into a casino. Like that shit can actually ruin a lot of people's lives. I was so saddened at the sight of very elderly people at Vegas in front of those slot machines like zombies, and they were clicking on the I don't even know if they understand the mechanism of the slot machines, but they were inserting their coins and their dollars continuously, and they were like dead people, just like pressing and pressing over and over and over again. There was one anti-gambling World Cup ad in Singapore during 2014 where the kid actor said he bet his life savings on Germany winning the World Cup, and Germany did win the World Cup that year. Oh, okay. Well, that backfired then. Yeah. Weird, really weird that alcohol is big in South Korea, but smoking is the greatest sin. Idols being so heavily criticized by smoking. Um, I don't think smoking is seen as an equivalent of drinking or anything. I don't think it's heavily criticized as well too. It's only criticized when it's done in a public space. So if you're in front of like a hairdresser or like you're with your staff, you're indoors, and it's illegal. You're banned. You're prohibited to smoke anywhere indoor in Korea unless you're at a smoking area, a booth that has a ventilation system. So if you're a celebrity and you're smoking indoors or in front of like other people, that's indirect, like inhaling the bad toxins of the cigarette, right? So you're affecting other people's lungs and whatnot. So a lot of people hate that kind of behavior and smoke. I don't think I kind of feel bad to some point for smokers in Korea because I think over the years the freedom or maybe the rights of smokers have been shrinking to like up to this. Now like the prices are going up, they don't have anywhere to smoke, they have to go like all around the building, go over here to a smoking booth, and they have to all gather together and smoke, and they can't like. So I like that as a non-smoker. I've never smoked a single time in my life. I don't understand smoking, but when I see my friends who are chain smokers, they can't live without nicotine. Sometimes I feel kind of sorry for them because like that's that's everyone has their source of joy, and if I don't think smoking is like a sin or like a very bad thing. So if they choose to smoke, they smoke. It's unhealthy for you, but that's their decision, right? But while they're doing it, I feel like their rights are so restricted to a point, like they don't have anywhere to stand now, and I kind of feel bad for them, but at the same time I'm like, I don't care because I'm a non-smoker. Yeah, so yeah. um yeah. The big thing casinos do to us is the flashing lights and the dings from all the machines. Yeah, they drive you crazy. The dopamine hit. Exactly. Uh-huh. Stocks are normally invested and not speculation. Gambling is 100% speculation. Exactly. Exactly. Uh, Boyfriend on demand is what I think it's called. Okay. Okay. In Korean, it's 월간 남친, so that would be monthly boyfriend, something like that. Um, can this love be translated? Oh yes, I heard that one is good too. I heard that one is good too. Yes. Yeah. I've watched Anna as well. I loved it. Yeah, I loved it too. I like the ending of Anna. Rarely do I like endings of K dramas because I sometimes feel like they don't have much closure, or they just like pace through and just hastily end just for the sake of ending the drama in 16 episodes or 12 episodes, whatever it is. And then at the last episode, they usually put in all those like Subway or Sunblock PPLs and um, these stupid, like, nutrient sticks, uh, ginseng stick PPLs, all at the end. So it feels very unauthentic and rushed through, and I don't like those K drama endings. Um, but in the case for Anna, I really liked the ending, how it ended. I will not spoil it for the guys who haven't watched it, but like it was very cinematic till the end, and we got closure. We got to see the life of Susie. So yeah, I recommend that one. Hmm. It's just indoor smoking that gets criticized. You are right. Yes. Oh yeah, it's great that your son doesn't gamble. Yep. Cigarette smoke triggers migraines. Yes, there's a lot of people that get affected pretty heavily by smoke. So yeah, in the old days in Korea, until I think the 1990s, no, the early 2000s, yes, indoor smoking was allowed in Korea. Because I went to PC rooms and people were smoking all over the place. And it was totally a very, very bad environment for kids to be in. But everyone was smoking. That's one of the reasons I never wanted to go to PC rooms because it was very dimly lit. It was just like pitch black, actually. It's like no lights, only the computer screen. Everyone was smoking, everyone was cursing. Um, but then we had to go for the high speed internet and also like the experience points, the double events or whatever, and friends, like playing StarCraft together. It was an experience and phase. But then I think starting from the mid 2010s, 2000s or something, uh, they started banning and cracking down on smoking. I watched The Frog because of you. It was good. The Frog. What was that drama's name in Korean? Ah, yeah, the 아무도 없는 숲속. Yeah, that was good too. Yeah, yeah. It's kind of scary in the beginning, but it was good. It's also funny that gambling is illegal, but lotto is so popular. So lottery, for instance, I actually bought lottery as well yesterday. I always so for normies like me, peasants like me, that don't have a lot of money, but wish they have a lot of money. It's a standard routine to buy lottery, and the mindset is like I know it's stupid, but it's like it gives us hope for the week. So I always buy my lottery on Sundays or Mondays because the actual the the lottery, what do you call it, the choosing process is on Saturday 8 p.m. for Korean lottery. So if you buy it on a Sunday and Monday, you can spend the whole week fantasizing what you will do with that prize money. And the thing is, like, it isn't like the Powerball in the United States where they give you like $100 million or whatever, the $1 billion, whatever it is. We only get the max prize is probably something around like $2 million, something like that. So you can barely buy like the most expensive house in apartment in Seoul. After you buy the house, you don't have anything left. That's why a lot of people are very unenthusiastic about lottery nowadays. Anyways, the thing is, like, you can fantasize what you're gonna do. Oh, I'm gonna spend like 100K on this. I'm gonna spend like on like buying a car and blah blah, save this much, and that gives you like a motivation to go through the week while you dream through that. Like it's like a $5 dopamine hit where you can imagine uh your future with that amount of money, but then the results are always like, you always lose. That was my result too. But the good thing is, lottery serves its purpose as wealth redistribution too. So when you buy a lotto ticket in Korea, it says on the lottery ticket, your money, 40% of your money goes to social welfare and redistribution of wealth in Korea. So you're basically donating for people who are in poverty or who are underprivileged. So you're buying it for a self-motivated motive, but the end result is you're somehow helping society too. So you don't feel super like conscious conscience about like super guilty about like wasting your money. I always feel like I'm donating to society, I'm returning back to society too, and if I get lucky, I get lucky. So but then, of course, many people, like the majority of people, are just like going for the jackpot and they want to win that money for themselves. Like who doesn't want that money, right? So yeah, I think it's super popular. There are famous spots here. The fallacy of those places that line up for the lottery is the reason people line up at specific places is because they get like these placards that the lottery stands can put on their glass or their stalls. It's like, oh, this place got a grand prize. This place got a second prize, third prize, this many times. So once you get that, that's why a lot of these lottery stand owners pray that their stand gets a winner, because once you get that plastered on your window, that that creates an effect of more people wanting to buy lottery from that place because they somehow believe that that place has good energy, and that's why it produced a winner. Thus that energy is going to transition into their luck as well too. But the thing is, because of this mindset, it snowballs and more people line up at that specific place. Thus the probability of a new winner being produced by that stall goes up as well. And as time goes on, the probability goes up every single time, and another winner comes up, and then it just snowballs and more, and then winners come out regularly from that place, and that place becomes designated as a lucky place or a good lottery stall. And then that's how these lines form. There are a lot of places like that around my neighborhood as well too. The one I go to has only produced like second prize winners, but I'm down for a second prize, right? So that's the fallacy, and it just snowballs, and that's why people line up at these popular places. Um, so yeah, even for interestingly enough, even for the lottery stand owner, it's somewhat hitting a lottery for the owner too, because like once you get that winner from your stall, people are going to come more and more and more, and your revenue goes up as well. So yeah, it's pretty interesting how the lottery system works. And in Korea, I don't know if they've changed the law, but until recently, I was kind of interested. I'm interested in anything related to money. So I looked into it. And apparently for you to register a business for lottery, you need to be either a vet, like a war participant from the Korean War, or you need to be disabled, or you need to have some kind of, social credit score uh, over an ordinary person in whatever way it is. And the government prioritizes those group of people to register a lottery business. Which I think is fair because a lottery business, to be honest, it's one of the easiest things you can do, which has high demand, which is governed by the nation itself as well too, right? Like you're just sitting there and you're just like literally getting money and giving out tickets. I guess that would be hard if you're trapped in like that stall for the entire day, but let's be real, like you can't compete with a manual labor worker at a construction site or a service worker at a restaurant, right? With the same pay. So yeah, it is some kind of a privilege that is guaranteed by the government. So I do think like the prioritization of giving a business license for lotteries to underprivileged people or war veterans are a good policy. Yeah. You are starting to look tired? Yeah, it's nearing 2 a.m., so yeah. Oh no. Oh, I feel bad for your father and brother. Yeah, so smoking doesn't really have any benefits for you, health wise. So that's why I prayed and prayed out loud when I was super young, like in my teens. I used to have a habit of praying together with my grandma every single night before I go to sleep, and I would like kneel on like my window pane. Like we had like this little cushion there, and my grandma and I would both, like something like that. I would kneel down and say like, dear God, dear Jesus, blah 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 blah. Thank you for our food and our roof and whatever. Please, look out for our family and our health and blah 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 blah. And I would always include, please help my dad quit smoking because I was educated at school that smoking is super unhealthy and it could actually get you lung cancer and kill you. So I would always include that every single day, and then my dad would hear that, and I guess it affected him, and he got kind of moved and touched by my sincerity as a child and kid, and the consistency of me praying every single night with my grandma together. So like he eventually quit. And I think, yeah, that's a big accomplishment as a kid, right? It's very hard to convince your parents in doing something, especially something an addiction like smoking. But that's a cute story. How often are you on Arirang News? Bi-weekly. It's usually like every other 2 weeks. Yeah. Can foreigners also buy the lotto tickets? I think so. Yeah, I think you can buy the lotto tickets. I don't know if you're eligible to actually receive it though. I'd have to look upon that. But yeah, there as far as like buying goes, I've never seen anybody verify for IDs or anything. You just give them cash. Yeah. I wonder if I like so when I was in Texas, I went to a big big supermarket and with my friend, and there was a Powerball stand there. And I looked at the amount, like for some reason like there wasn't a winner for a consecutive couple weeks, and the amount of the grand prize was crazy. I've never seen that much numbers and zeros in my life before. And I was like, if I buy that and I'm like a Korean citizen, would I be able to actually get that? And I think we asked someone there, or like my friend said it, yes, I was eligible to. So I think I actually bought $10 worth of the Powerball. I don't think I ever actually checked if I won. Probably not. Do they publish the names of the winners? Oh no. Oh no. They become really easy targets, so no way. Yeah, they're like literally people that try to hunt you down. There's no social credit program in Korea, but also you get, what do you call it? Like it's not like a score system or anything, but they definitely acknowledge you for certain things. Yeah. Your neighbor won $10 million with the lottery? That is crazy. That is crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, if you win the lottery in Korea, so uh I've seen a story, an internet post that I cannot verify whether it's true or not, but it's a very viral post of someone that has actually won the grand prize for the lotto. And apparently, if you win first prize, you're supposed to go to the Seoul Station branch, Nonghyuk Bank. There's this specific bank that is the vendor or the host of the lotto thingy that gives you your money. You have to make a bank account in that specific branch. So when the lottery ends, the winners are revealed every single week, and the Monday comes, there are brokers apparently in front, lines of brokers just standing right in front of that bank, that specific branch of bank in front of Seoul Station. And when someone very early in the morning, as soon as the bank opens, like rushes into the bank, the brokers stop them and say like, "Are you the winner of the lottery, like 238th lottery or something?" They ask you. They try to catch you as well too. And that's why a lot of people on the internet have actually said that when you win the lottery, do not go on Mondays. Um, Dress very well, because like these brokers judge you by your appearance. If you're like in very shabby, worn down clothes and you don't like look like a rich person, but you're actually going to a specific counter or a direction in that branch, they'll identify you as the lottery winner and they'll try to stop you. So it's not like they're gonna attack you or steal your lottery ticket, but you never know, right? Like you should be careful. That's like $1 million ticket in your pocket. So always be cautious about it. But the reason these people approach you apparently is because, so these are all like fictional. We cannot verify if they're true or not. But apparently someone got approached by two people in a row, like while they were on their way to the counter, and these brokers were from different entities, and they introduced, one person was from like they introduced themselves as like a worker undercover for a very high politician politician figure, and one was from a chaebol family. So what they do with the lottery ticket is, um, I don't know how it works, but it's something like, I don't know how it exactly works, but if, for instance, if you win the first prize for the lottery, let's say the prize money is, just for convenience, it's like $1 million. They will deduce like 40% tax or something from that win. So you're only going to end up with like 600K from that lottery ticket. But what these brokers do and offer you is, since this piece of this piece of paper is transactional, like you can yield it to someone else without any kind of deed, or there's no like I like David Kim bought this at this date and this belongs to me, right? It's a piece of paper, you can actually give it to someone else. So what these brokers do is somehow use it to their advantage, so they pay off the winners for a, a better amount of money that they would actually receive from the bank, and they use those the lottery tickets for black ops or like some kind of, I don't know, like bribery. Because it's untraceable and it's a lot of money, so there might be multiple usages of it when they're doing like secret stuff, or they need to transfer money secretly or something like that. So apparently a lot of politicians, rich people, have a lot of usage for lottery tickets. And they will offer you like, oh, if you go to the bank right now, they'll tax that, they'll track that, and they'll whatever, make you make a bank account, whatever. I'll give you 700K. I'll give you 800K. Just give me the ticket right now in cash and strike deals like that. So that was very interesting. Um, yeah, I wish that could happen to me. And then they get the tickets and they use it for blackmail or whatever. They use it for corporate espionage or whatever. They contact like semiconductor researchers and say, if you come to our company, I'll give you like this lottery ticket. It's untraceable, like it's the number one grand prize ticket winner. Go use it for yourself. And there are a lot of ways to use that. No DKDK this Sunday. Yes, we're gonna probably do it on Tuesday morning, so that'll be a Monday night for you, I think. Government tax on the winnings is, I think, from what I heard, is 40%. So it's 33% to be exact. 33. It's not too bad. In Canada, winners' names and pictures are posted on social media. What? Why? Why would anybody do that? Wait, in the first place, how do you like? So you have to write your name or something after the person gives you the ticket, right? So, okay, huh? There are a lot of horror stories about Powerball jackpot winners, extortion, and murder. I don't play those big lotteries for the same reason. What would you do if you won? Well, I would definitely worry about that after winning. How many people accepted it? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Uh, I think it's to prove real people are winning. Oh, okay. Yeah, a lot of people still think the lottery, the ballot system is like rigged. What would I do with my money? So if I had $1 million, what would I do? I think for half of it, I would definitely put it in like an ETF or a high dividend ETF that would give me probably like, I don't know, $2,000 to $3,000 per month income. And then half of it, it's not even enough to buy a house, right? So half of it, the 500K, I would, yeah, probably use that to get another loan to buy a house. That'd be it. Half of it into financial assets, half of it into real estate. That's it for 1 mil. That's that's basically what you can do with 1 mil. Now, if it was 10 mil, that's a different story. But if it was 2 mil, okay, let's say if it's $3 million. Same goes for that. Like half of it into financial assets that would make me dividends, uh, so that I can live without working until, yeah, I die. And then half of it, which is like $1.5 million, that's enough to buy a house. Yeah, I buy a house probably like in $1 million, and I have 500K left. I would use that to travel the world. Yeah, I wouldn't get a Porsche or anything. I value exploring and discovering the world. I love traveling that much. So, yeah, if I had a 500K extra, then I would definitely do a world tour. Finally go to South America or Africa or places I've never been to. Yeah. Hello, Patrick. Good morning, good evening. Canadians are too nice. If I win this much country fly to third world country? Are you talking about USD? USD, yeah, 1 million USD. The average price for a apartment in Seoul is 13억. So that's about, with the currency, I would say 900K US dollars. The average house, the average apartment. Let's correct that. So we're not counting villas or office tels or whatever. The standard for housing in Korea is apartments. So the average uh price for apartments in Seoul is 900K. That's average. So if you want to go to a little bit more bougie area, then it goes up to like 1 mil, 1.5 mil, 2 mil. I think BTS, where BTS lives, Hannam-dong, that's around like the 8 to 9 mil area. Seoul is expensive. Where would you like to go? So I recently heard about the beauty of Africa. I really want to visit Africa, do a safari tour. Um, yeah, I want to see animals in the wild, in the savannah, and South Africa as well too. South America, South America. Yeah, Brazil and Chile and Argentina and everywhere else. Didn't they have the Samba Festival recently? The homes in Seoul are expensive, of course. Yeah, it's one of the most expensive places in the world, I think. I think so. There's this indicator. It's like, because it's not fair to compare prices just by its face value between like London, New York, Paris, Tokyo, Seoul. There's this indicator where you assess the average income of a person who lives in Seoul versus the average price of a house in Seoul, and you divide it by something. So, like an average person earns whatever in New York, and the house price is there, how much, and you divide it. So, there's like that one indicator, and according to that indicator, Seoul is up there at, yeah, it's pretty high up. Like, go to my past video. I can't remember, but it's definitely one of the top five. Yep, I remember. So, like, I remember this statistic vividly. So for an average office worker that has an average job, average salary, for the person to buy an average apartment house in Seoul, they would have to spend $0 and save 100% of their salary, which is impossible in the beginning, but just for convenience, save 100% of their salary for 25 years straight to afford a house, an apartment in Seoul. So in reality, that means it would take you probably double that amount. I guess people achieve buying a house through loans because like they marry each other and they could max out their loans and, you know, pay off the mortgage debts. That's how a lot of people do it in other countries as well. So it doesn't take up to 25 years, but more than a decade. More than a decade for sure. Yeah. What about the outskirts of Seoul? Your 4,300 SF house was 165K. What's an SF? Square feet? I don't know what that is. If you go to Gyeonggi, the Gyeonggi province, the belt around Seoul, the satellite city is there. It's a little bit better. So 경기도 평균 아파트값, 경기도 평균 집값. So let's see what it says. Here 6억 6천. So that would be uh that would be like 500K. Yeah, give or take 4.5 450 or 500K. in Gyeonggi. Yep, but it says over here, you can see Seoul. I'll translate it for you guys. Gyeonggi-do is 660 million won, which is, as I told you, 500k or 450k. And then from average price in Seoul is 1.56 billion won, which is $1 million. Yep. And I don't know square feet. So we usually count in pyeong. So pyeong, 25 pyeong is square meters when converted to 82. 82 square meters. This is the average household. Yeah, we're $1 million for an 82.64 square meter house in Seoul. 1 million. 900k, yeah. What are the current mortgage loan rates? Oh, really? Are we going there? 주택 담보 대출 이자 금리. Currently, it's around 4%. 4% to 6%. That's what it says. Yeah. As of February 2026, variable interest rate 4.02 to 5.54. Yep. My fam jokes that I should buy an apartment in Korea since I visit so much. Guess that's out. It's cheaper to stay in a hotel for sure. Yeah. So actually, the president has declared war against housing prices. And as I've told you countless times, I'm neutral, but I think a lot of policy-wise, a lot of my political spectrum leans towards the conservative neutral side. Uh, but currently, the president is liberal progressive, and he had a lot of like moral flaws and whatnot. So I wasn't totally sure about him. I definitely didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for anybody to be fair. But he's been pretty successful in terms of cranking up the stock market. So his plan, and I agree with this wholeheartedly to him. So I'm very neutral again. Like I don't care about which spectrum you're in. Like I look at the policy and his values and what he's trying to do, the direction, and try to assess that with my own values. And if that's reasonable, then that's reasonable. So I'm a pragmatist, I think. So the current President Lee said that Korean housing prices are absurd. I agree to that wholeheartedly. He said the fact that the nation's 90% of the nation's wealth is in real estate, which is in depreciating assets, technically, essentially concrete buildings, is absurd. It's not creating any kind of extra value, in contrary to companies' stocks. Thus, he believes that he needs to disperse. So he's not trying to crumble down the real estate market because real estate has its own value too, right? There's the land, there's the infrastructure around it, there's the convenience, blah, 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 blah. That's why it's valued in the first place like that. But he thinks it's too overpriced and the nation's wealth is too focused too much on real estate. So he wants to disperse that and make that flow into the stock market because there's a thing called the Korea discount. And he thinks great companies like Samsung, Hyundai, LG, Kia, SK, all these companies should be fairly priced and they create a lot of jobs and they create a lot of value. They create dividends for people, and they elevate our country status, and they should make a greater environment for these companies to work well. So thus he wants the real estate money to flow into the stock markets. Until now, he has been very successful. The Korean stock markets, as I told you over and over again, has been at its all-time high. Foreign money is flowing in, and right now the president's cracking down on the real estate market. So his first target is the people who are speculators in the real estate market that own more than one house. So it's now official. If you own more than one house in Korea, you get a massive strike with taxes. It he explained it as like, I'll make it painful enough so that you will your only choice will be to sell your second house or your third house or whatever. So his main value is that a house, of course, it has financial value, but at its core should be a residence, a place that a shelter for people to live. It shouldn't be a subject or value, an asset for speculation. I kind of agree to that. So hyper capitalists or free market, you know, capitalists wouldn't really agree to that in the free market. But then that leans a little bit more to socialism, I would say. Like housing should not be, you know, monopolized or capitalized too much. He's not saying that the government should own houses or whatever, control the housing market. So it's kind of a little bit more left leaning, but um, but that would normally go against my standards, but since I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum right now, I'm broke. I'm a young person that would probably never be able to afford a house in Seoul. So what he's doing is in my favor, and I think we need a correction in the housing market as well because I think it's absurd. The whole entire younger generation thinks the pricing of Seoul apartments are absurd, so we're all rooting for him now. And at the end of the day, it might simplify down to like tax the rich, tax the rich, strip them, like tax them. But I do think specifically with Korea's housing market, we do need to tax the rich to some extent. So yeah, he's cracking down on multi-home owners, and if they don't sell, he's gonna put on like a lot of taxes on it. And yeah, so that's happening, and the house market is slowly like correcting right now, and they're slowly going down. But there are a lot of complex dynamics. It's not that simple. So the last time a progressive government tried this exactly same move, the housing prices actually fluctuated up. That's how the market works, I guess. There's always like a rebound effect. So it's very hard to predict um, the direct effect of policies. It doesn't really go the way you intend it to be, right? But anyways, I don't own a house, so I'm just watching this with my arms like this. I'm a stockholder. I'm a little bit more of a financial asset kind of guy, so I'm just like, yeah, watching the whole scene with popcorn. Yeah, it's not tax the rich, it's disincentivize hoarding property and speculating property. It's actually that simple. Yes, I agree too. Uh, the other side says elsewise, but that's always how it works. Yin and yang, ping pong, progressive, conservative, whatever. Uh, it's really complicated. It is. It is. So, I could go on for the whole night to maybe counterattack why this policy might not work, which is a lot of real estate experts are saying, and why the past government administration failed with their real estate prices that drove up the price like this right now. So people are actually pretty frightened because like if it happens exactly like what the past administration did and drive up the prices even more, we become even more hopeless. So the president needs to be very careful on this one. So the main problem right now, just to simplify it, is there's supply and demand in the housing market, right? So there's only like two ways to deal with the housing market. You can either increase the supply or you can restrict the demand. Like there's massive demand, but you can put regulations and whatever to like control the demand. And what he's trying to do is like through taxes and regulations, he's trying to like since we can't increase the supply in a short term. He plans to increase the supply with public housing and whatever, but those are like 10-year plans. What younger people need now is actually homes right in front of them with affordable prices. So the supply part is like out of the picture. So he's trying to control or like alter the demand, right? And he's trying to make more supply by making people sell, right, with multiple homes as well too. But that's like just part of the problem. But essentially what's the bigger problem is because the government doesn't want people speculating on housing, they've cracked down on loans as well too. So essentially you cannot get a loan that exceeds over 500K in order for the purpose of purchasing a house. So the dilemma here is because the loan is capped at 500K and the pricing right now, the average pricing is at, like I said, 1 million, right? And the government is trying to regulate it and tax the rich or whatever and make them sell their houses at a cheaper price. So it's going to fall down to maybe like, 900K, 800K, maybe 700K. But since normal people cannot get loans up to 600K, like that's like the cap. If you're a doctor, maybe you could get like 600K or whatever. But normal people like me could probably only get 100 or 200K. There's still a discrepancy between the market price and the loan and your own money. So if I were to, for example, if I have my net worth, my all my assets are like 100K and I can get a 200K loan, that's 300K, right? But then still, even after the correction, the housing prices would be somewhere around like a decent average house would be somewhere around 600K. Where am I going to get that 300K, right? So what people are going to be doing is like we still can't buy the house, but people are no way going to sell their houses beneath like 600K or 500K. They would rather just pay the taxes because paying the taxes is going to be cheaper than like lowering their housing prices and selling off the market, right? So what happens is people just hold on to their houses and ignoring the just like whatever paying the taxes for a long time, and then as more and more people consolidate and hold on to their housing, like people who need homes somehow get their money or whatever, and the prices just start to crawl up and up and up and up again, and then there's no like trade, like what do you call it, there's no buy and sell in the market. The market just like goes dead and the prices don't fall down anymore. They just consolidate, and they just people hold on to their one good house. Like the rich people, they would sell this house when the policy begins and then jump up to another house, and then like people who had a mid-tier house would go up to higher tier house with the loan. So the poor people, the average people that weren't able to buy a house, they just get left behind, and but the prices just go up higher at the end of the day. I know it's very complicated and maybe I'm explaining it in a very difficult way, but this is how exactly like a housing policy backfires. It's not just like one dimensional. So it's like a tug of war between loans, supply and demand, regulations, tax, people's sentiments, different regions. So there are multiple factors, and like the president cannot like control every single thing. So I mean, at least people are seeing that there's a silver lining now because like the rich people have an incentive to sell their houses because the stock market is doing so well that the money move is actually going to the stock market. So now we might have an advantageous environment, but if it's not that case, then it's just going to be a repeat of the past government, and it's just going to drive up the prices even more. So it's I, honestly, to be totally honest, as a person who has not even gone into real estate because I'm poor as F, I do not completely understand the whole mechanism of it, but this is how like I'm understanding it. So it's just very, very complicated. Yeah. Um. So it's a very complicating app. I wonder how many people are still watching this stream. Oh, 245. Very interesting. Okay. Uh, they need something now, not in 10 years. Exactly. So that's why the supply policies do not work. It's because when someone sells, the agencies will try and push for you to offer more to actually get the house. The supply is low because the market incentivizes having a low supply. The gain on current property owners by Okay, yeah, that's a little bit too much information for me to read at 2:30 without actually like, reading. So, I'll let you guys read the chat. It's all over here. So, mhm. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a battle between the top tier economists and real estate experts and policymakers, and the administration and the Congress. They're all more smarter people,
OMG, I'm so
and
into this
both
topic.
sides have smarter
Being a real
people.
estate appraiser in the
Um,
States, I'm very passionate
and
about this
the
subject.
outcome
Can
is
I call
at
in
the end
David?
what
Heading.
matters. I'm specifically leaning a little bit more towards the president right now, a little bit more belief in him because he has proven himself that he at least has the capability to drive a policy and a market in favor of his own intention and his ways. He's proven that with the stock market. So applying that logic, maybe it might be too like simple to think like that, but at least he's proven himself at the stock market, so he's been entrusted with my faith for the housing market. But then a lot of people are saying that it's not going to be the same. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Oh my god, I'm so into this topic. Being a real estate appraiser in the States, I'm very passionate about this subject. Can I call in David? I appreciate it. Thank you for the $5. And Carol, welcome being the member. Um, yeah, but I will not be that educated to talk about this issue. The I'm just scraping the surface over here because like I'm in my phase of life as a mid-30s guy which has accumulated a certain amount of money where I can maybe think of the possibility of maybe considering buying a house with a loan with my parents' help with whatever down the years of something, and I'm trying to learn about the real estate market and the housing prices and prepare for it with YouTube videos and debates here and there, and I'm just interested in politics in general. So this is like just like superficial information that I've gathered, but yeah, and my friends talk about it all the time. So yeah, I'm not a real estate expert or anything. I know a little bit more about stocks though. I cannot afford to buy a house in my area. I'm not poor. Our problem here is companies buying out houses to rent it. Yeah, that's yeah, multiple factors too. So another factor, which is minuscule but also does play a little bit part, is like the regulation against foreigners buying houses in Korea. So like I'm not targeting, but like it is a fact that Chinese people have the most amount of property in Seoul, and yeah, they bring in a lot of money and they buy property. They don't live in it. So there has been a recent change in laws where they're tightening rules for foreigners to buy housing in Seoul, unless like they're actually living here or have a marriage, whatever. So yeah, that's another factor. As you said, there are companies buying houses as well too. So a lot of different factors. Thank you, Mid Pacific Watcher. In the US, foreigners who own property need to pay 15% of sales prices at closing in taxes due to Foreigner Investment in Real Estate Property Tax Act. Ah. So, oh my God, my brain is fried now explaining all these difficult topics. But I might, if you're interested, maybe I might make a separate video about it soon. But it is definitely a hot potato amongst all Koreans right now, whether it's going to succeed or not. There's a lot of debate and talk about it. I mean, essentially, the liberals have always argued. So, um, I might be a little biased because I said I'm neutral, conservative leaning, but the narrative was always President Moon, who was the former liberal president, his failure with his real estate policy drove up the housing prices exponentially to the point that the younger generation cannot afford it anymore. And he's actually come out recently in his YouTube video and has admitted to his failure with real estate prices policies. So a lot of people blame this president specifically for the abnormal housing prices, but liberals until now have always explained the housing prices as a universal problem. They've always pointed to first world countries around the world, London, New York, Tokyo, and LA, with their absurd housing prices as well, which is a point too. And they've pointed to just like global inflation and speculation and whatever, capitalism. Uh, so it's not, it's hard to pinpoint who's right or wrong at the end. It's all a blaming game too when politics become involved. But you know, coming back to the current President Lee, what is for sure is like even the conservatives right now. So okay, just one last boring thing and I'll end the topic since you guys, some of you guys seem interested in this. So about the stock market, we're at an all-time high, right? So the argument is from the conservatives who are salty that do not want to acknowledge and approve that it's President Lee's effect in cranking up, doubling the stock market. Kospi was at 3,000 for a decade, and now it's almost at 6,000. It's doubled. It's crazy. Like, this is unprecedented. So I definitely think the X factor is President Lee and his policies. But the conservatives are saying, oh, he's just lucky because we're at the brink of an AI revolution. Thus, we need a lot of semiconductors and infrastructure like SMRs, which are nuclear power plants and whatever energy sources, electricity. And Korea happens to have all that infrastructure related, like robotics as well too. So Samsung, Hyundai, SK, LG, all these companies are semiconductors and robots and electricity related companies. So we're just on the uptrend in this super cycle of semiconductors with Nvidia and Microsoft ordering all these semiconductors, and we're just in the middle of that. That's why the stock market is going up crazy. Whereas the liberals would definitely say, no, it's because President Lee stepped in and he normalized the stock market and incentivized it. He actually made policy changes of cracking down on abnormal behavior and stock manipulation. And he said like he would cripple companies who played with the market. And he's focusing the country's narrative on the stock market, saying that he's actually trying to move money from the real estate to the stock market. So all these incentivize people to invest more in the stock market. I think both sides have a point. I think it's a mix of both. But then I don't think we can exclude the fact that President Lee, the current president, and his policy definitely had effect in at least catalyzing, or trampolining the upward movement of the stocks. And now he's making a third, a third amendment on the financial laws right now of like making mandatory for companies to burn their stocks, and the ownership structure is changing, shifting that so it can be a more transparent and fair uh, structure for retail investors. So I definitely think he has a point, and also diplomatically as well too. He's a little bit more um, on the friendlier side to North Korea, so they are not provoking us. They're not like shooting missiles to the EC or anything. So that was a part of the Korea discount too. While the conservatives always like poked at North Korea, and whenever North Korea shot a missile, J.P. Morgan and everyone would pull out because they don't know anything about Korea and they think like we're in the brink of war, so their funds are in danger. So there are a lot of things, and so going back to the real estate thing, like it's not black and white. We can't point like who's at fault, who is really effective. It might be like a paradigm shift. It might be like an environmental change, or it might be luck, or whatever it is. But I definitely think for this time, his his bet or his drive was at least more than 60% of like the stock uprise movement, and um his what do you call it, like his drive is strong enough, and he's focused enough to actually maybe correct eh, the real estate market. And his story, his backstory, his narrative, that he's like this bulldozer that just doesn't care about votes. He's actually said that. He's like, I don't care about votes anymore. He's going to make the real estate market right. And he gave us a deadline. So March, I know actually May 9th is the deadline he gave to all these people who speculate with real estate, who has more than one property. He said if you don't sell by May 9th, you will be hit with an exorbitant amount of taxes. So he's given a ultimatum, and people know he's like a very strong, driven person, and people are like, "Oh shit, this is not a warning anymore. Like he's actually gonna do it." So this sentiment as well is actually working, and the prices are correcting a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe this is a short term kind of correction, or maybe it's not. But I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully, it corrects to a level where no way it's gonna go down like 50% or anything, to a point where I can actually affordably afford it reasonably. But at least if it gets normalized a little bit and people can actually have hope in buying their own houses, I'd be satisfied with just that, you know. But then, okay, the conservatives will also argue that he's just spraying money here and there, populism, and he's creating inflation, getting debt from our future generation, ruining our countries, printing money, blah 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 blah. So that's a valid point too. He's actually giving out a lot of vouchers. Um, but yeah, that was a little bit of Korean economics for you guys. I'm sorry if you were bored, or sorry if it was like, too difficult, but I need a lot of more research on this topic as well to extend the depths of it. But this is the best I could explain it to you guys for now. And it's 3 a.m. in the morning, so I should definitely go to sleep. After reading some of your comments, yes, that'll be it for the day. Let's see. So the first domino in lowering housing costs is lowering rents. Hmm. Okay. Everywhere, yes. Land is very limited. Thank you for your donation, Carol. Thank you so much. 9.99. Thank you for the $10. And if I may, Carol, I don't know. I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but it's just my observation. Maybe you have a reason for this, but if you look at your account name, if you want to Koreanify your name, Carol, to the Korean alphabet Hangul, then the correct typing would be using kiuk, not kiuk, like this one. So it should be cad, or if you can correct it. Maybe if you know that already, that's fine. But right now, what your ID says is Carol. It's Garol, not Carol. So just letting you know. Thank you so much for the $10. Uh, Crap, I paid before I typed, just supporting the idea of a serious video. Okay, okay, got it, got it, got it. All right, yeah, let me do a deep dive into the housing market. Sounds like more of an Asian boss type of thing. Maybe I should just call Steve and say like, "Oh, bro, you should cover this." Yeah, let me just stay in K-pop land because that's more down my lane. Well, to be fair, all the Yoon Sung-yeol supporter peeps are equivalent of MAGA. At this point, yeah, okay. Oh my gosh, this is getting too long. But so just quick update, Yoon Sung-yeol got a life sentence. The verdict was a life sentence. He didn't get a death penalty, but he got a life sentence quite recently. That's the highest form of punishment. I don't know if their legal team, the lawyers, are actually thinking of appealing. I think they will. But, anyways, he got a life sentence, and that is significant. The thing is, the conservatives are in big shit right now because, like, their approval rates are down in the, like, it's down in the shitholes. Even the real conservatives, like, in Daegu, and Busan is like a traditionally conservative region. Their approval rate for the current president is at like 60%. Because it's not because okay, the president is doing a good job in my opinion. I might trigger a lot of people whenever I talk about politics, but anyways, the Conservative Party is doing so bad right now. Their incompetence is, I think, driving their approval rate down. And the center of it is actually what Ryan mentioned, the equivalent of MAGA. So, like, no offense to MAGA, but like internationally, MAGA is seen as like a very extreme thing. Like, if you're MAGA, if you support Trump, whatever, I respect that. I will not interfere with U.S. politics, but we have the equivalent of that in the international lens in Korea as well. And right now, that is the supporters for President Yoon, right? So these people are called Yoon again, hashtag Yoon again. And these people are clutching on and clinging on to President Yoon even after he got the life sentence. They say that his martial law was just and it was validated with his intentions in suspicion of a rigged election and voting and China trying to infiltrate our country, blah 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 blah, and they still support President Yoon. So these people are they're not the majority, but they're definitely a big part of the Conservative Party's supporter spectrum. So they're a part of they're a big enough portion that cannot be ignored. So the Conservative Party cannot afford to lose these zealous people right now because like they're already down there. But the problem is the representative of the People Power Party, which is the conservative party in Korea, his name is Chang Dong-hyuk. The reporters, after ex-president Yoon's life sentence got confirmed, the reporters asked the representative, "What do you think about this? Are you going to like cut him off? Are you going to throw him under the bus? Like, do you support him anymore?" And this guy Jang couldn't give a clear-cut answer. And actually, after a day, he actually came out and surprisingly said, "Actually, I believe in innocent until guilty. So, under our legal system, he has the right to appeal. And this is just the first sentence. Thus, right now, I will delay my judgment, and I believe in like the trial and the process itself." And he counterattacked the current President Lee, digging up his old shit, saying like, "Oh, he's a more corrupt being, and he should be the one in jail and being investigated, and he's using his presidential rights to not be interrogated and prosecuted now, so we should actually act against him." So basically, what he's saying is he is still supporting Yoon. Basically, he didn't say it word for word, but basically, underline, he's saying like, "Yeah, we're still not gonna cut out Yoon from our party. We still support him in some sort of way." So he wanted to please everybody, like the Yoon supporters as well too. But this became a huge controversy even within the Conservative Party, and they're now like all split and torn apart. And people with some sort of authority and like power in that Conservative Party are now saying, "Oh, that is unacceptable." At this point, when the justice court, the legal court, has the prosecutors pushed for a death sentence, he got a life sentence. And at this point, you're still not cutting him off because of those, crazy zealous supporters of him. Like these supporters, okay, they might be a little delulu, because whatever they say about like the logic behind President Yoon's martial law, okay, it's okay to think about whatever. It's a free country, so like, yeah, they can argue about that, whatever, however they want. But the thing I think of, which is kind of delulu, is that they think President Trump of the U.S. is actually looking into this with very high attention, and they think President Trump is actually going to come in the near future and request the South Korean government to free President Yoon, and actually order a, in-depth investigation on the current status of rigged voting and the election process. So that's what the Yoon again people are stating right now. They're waiting for President Trump's approval and green light to say, to press the current South Korean government to say that kind of stuff. And they've been saying this throughout APEC and the US Korean summit, and they've been disappointed over and over and over again, but they're still clinging on to this. And then that's the point I think it's delulu. I don't know, maybe it might be a possibility at this time and era, whatever the US is doing right now. Nothing seems impossible, honestly. Like, we don't know if there's going to be an airstrike in Iran in the next 48 hours, but or Greenland, who knows. But yeah, that's at least what they're saying. But anyway, the Conservative Party is split as hell right now. It's all in chaos. There was another influential leader who got kicked out of the party, and he's now rallying his own supporters. So it's very politically turbulent at the moment for South Korea right now. So yeah. Anyways, I'm giving you the landscape of real estate, stocks, politics, everything today at 3 a.m. in the morning. Wow. Okay. Stock market going crazy is a good for my retirement investments. Good thing for this senior citizen. Congratulations. Okay. Nah, it was interesting. Okay. We love a good yapping session. Hope this was interesting enough. Okay, 239 people still here. Wow, interesting. What about we talk about Suns LAFC winning over Messi? Okay, that was interesting too. Two stars met. Uh, hit the wrong one. Yeah, I assumed. So this is a very deep conversation for the morning. If we ever want to talk real, I appreciate that, but I don't think I would be informed enough to talk with you, like to satisfy your level of intelligence in that prospect. Um, a little delulu is a kind of way of describing it. Trump has got so many issues right now. You don't got time for that. I don't know. Maybe he might use the good old, uh, what do you call it? Steering the attention to another direction thingy. You became a mini Steve from Asian Boss today. Yeah, yeah. If I put in more effort, do more research and refine my words and addressing, it would be a better piece. But this is like totally live, and yeah, my sleep is crawling up to me. So, anyways, wow, it was a 3 hour live stream. I did not expect it to be this long today after a long week, but yes, I will wake up early tomorrow. It was a pleasure to talk with you guys. Thanks for sticking around for this long. Hey, Cynthia, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. Thank you so much. Is Danny Mac? That is such a funny question. You joined later to hear the K-pop news? Oh, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but no K-pop news today. Now, there isn't a lot going around. I don't think there's a lot going around. Anyways, yeah, only the Minijin and V news maybe. Other than that, not that much. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, guys. If you appreciated my stream, please support me via PayPal, buy me a coffee, or Patreon. Patreon.com/Korean Pizza Club. More intimate and personal podcast over there. And as I told you in the beginning, there's going to be more bite-sized 15-minute, 10-minute pieces of individual news. So look forward to that. And I am going to go to sleep now, 3 a.m. All right. See y'all, everybody. Bye bye. Have a good night. Have a good day. Bye. Do me a favor and where is it? Oh wow, super chat. Yes, Lynn, thank you so much for the $10. Pizza. Wow, I'm glad I waited.
Slice of pizza emoji.
Woohoo! Thank you so much. Yeah, I was about to send an ad your way so that you can donate 50 cents to me. But yeah, I'm gonna send an ad your way. If you can, watch the 30-second ad or something. It would support me. But saying bye. Bye bye.